Okay, so the preface to the story is it's winter time. You're in Japan. You're walking through the streets. Maybe it's snowing. And you're looking for something like a fun activity to do, some way to enjoy the winter time, maybe the holiday season. You say, oh, look at that. It's an ice skating rink. Wouldn't it be nice to go for a quick ice skate and then warm up with some hot chocolate, perhaps?
Yeah.
And what happens, Tamara?
Then you realize that it is a living world frozen underneath the ice. So Japan is under some serious criticism after freezing dead fish under the slab of ice, so you can just see the very tops of them. Along with that, they also froze pictures of stingrays and other sea life underneath the ice rink to make it look like you're ice skating over the ocean. It kind of just froze in time. Well, they're under extreme criticism because people freaked out about the fact that there are actual fish frozen underneath the ice, and they think that this is bad, completely horrible decision making on the part of this company that decided to do this, because they think that it's bad to put dead fish that are under the ice. I disagree.
So Tamara is pro dead fish skating, right?
Yeah, okay. Also, the way these fish were sourced is that they were dead and they picked them up at the market and they could not be sold anymore because they were past their expiration date. They had been left out too long and they weren't going to sell them because they wouldn't be good to eat anymore. So they picked them up from there and recycled them. All you can see of these dead fish underneath the ice is the very tops of them. It's essentially a silhouette. You can't see very much of them. And it kind of just fits in. They put them kind of in schools of fish swimming around, and they're just kind of frozen there. But it's not like anyone's ice skating and hitting a fish and it's flying out, or they put these fish in there live, and they're like,
and they're like, we'll just
whatever. Yeah. I don't know. People are really freaking out about this, and I almost think it's a kind of a cool idea, and I'm surprised I haven't seen anything like this before. For example, outside of the National Aquarium, I feel like they would easily put something like this if they set up an ice skating rink. But that's just my opinion.
So I actually tend to agree with Tamara on this one. I see both sides of the argument. So people that are against this might say that it's cruel, it's inhumane to do this to the fish. It's kind of grotesque that you're taking your family to this expedition and there are these dead animals.
Expedition.
Whatever. There are these dead animals under the ice, and they say, maybe it's in poor taste. Now, like what Tamara was saying, I think we got to look at what actually really goes on in our society. I'm a meat eater, I'm a fish eater, Tamara's a meat eater, Tamara's a fish eater. These fish are dead. They actually sourced them more ethically than they probably even needed to.
Oh yeah.
I mean, look.
They could have just lied and said about the entire thing, but they're saying, wait, we actually thought about this. We're not trying to be weird here.
So here's a perfect example. A story we actually talked about 1 or 2 weeks ago on the show was about these restaurants that are popping up in Los Angeles and New York that do a certain type of sushi preparation that's popular in South Korea and Japan mostly, which is preparing live fish for consumption. So what they'll do is they'll take a squid and they'll cut its head off and have the tentacles still wriggling on the plate, and then you eat the head while the tentacles are still wriggling. Or they do it with a shrimp, or they'll come out there and they'll have a living lobster and they'll put the living lobster into the water and make you watch it die in the bowl. There's also other weird stuff with other crustaceans where you basically rip them apart while they're still alive and wriggling. So that's popular in Japan. Based on that baseline, the fact that they went to a market, one, not only did they buy dead fish that were available for consumption, they went an additional step. And they actually took the expired dead fish.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have even had a problem with it if they said, oh, we're going to the grocery store and we're going to buy all these dead fish. Instead of cooking them, we're going to put them under our ice skating rink.
Yeah, people were going to eat them anyways, and they were going to be gone.
Once they're dead,
once they're out of
property.
the
I can
ocean,
do whatever I want
that's
with
it. Like, game over. Once someone has taken them out of the ocean, and they weren't even making more demand for that product, which
Sure.
I think is the point. Like, everyone has heard me go on and on about animals, the environment, all of these different things, but once something has already happened, and you are not creating demand for this product, then you're not doing anything against the environment. And I think that if you're going to use it for something, you might as well use it for someone else's entertainment rather than throw it away. I think you might as well get your use as far as you can out of products, and we already throw away too many things as a society. But I don't know. I don't get it. Like, I feel like people are looking for something to complain about this ice skating rink.
People are just always looking for something to complain about.
I can maybe understand if they actually had real larger sea life underneath there, like if they actually had real stingrays, real eels, but those were photos. If they had a dolphin under there, I would be causing a roar right now. And there would be an issue. But fish, I think, maybe it's just my opinion. Maybe it's the same.
Pretty hypocritical, Tamara.
Yeah.
What's the difference between a dolphin and a
because
fish?
most people aren't eating dolphins. You're not picking that up from the grocery store, and I would call them out on that.
They do eat dolphin in Japan.
Yeah, but that would be more expensive. There would be more demand for it. I think it would be a little bit different.
So here are my two proposed solutions.
Okay.
Personally, this isn't the type of attraction that I would go out of my way to participate in.
Yeah.
It just doesn't do it for me. But two ways they could have done this that maybe wouldn't weird people out. One, a thing you could do is just put like models of fish and then freeze those, and it would have the same effect and they wouldn't be alive. A second thing you could do, which actually maybe would do it for me, is a scenario where you figure out how to have a real fish tank
Underneath.
So like maybe you have a fish tank, then you have a huge layer of plexiglass, and then you freeze like an inch of ice. That would be kind of cool.
But then the temperature of that, I feel like, would have issues. There would be a lot of technical
Well, yeah,
things
you'd have
that.
to do some kind of like Arctic fish that swim in the North Pole or something.
And then you would be taking them out of the water anyway, so these people would be angry.
But hey, no one's hiring me to construct their next
the thing that
ice skating rink in
think
Japan.
Is the best, though, the general manager of Space World, which is the place in Japan that this was actually set up, has made a statement saying, "We regret this terribly." Like, these people must have
They wouldn't regret it if no one said anything.
Off. If they, Also, you're saying if they would put models of fish, how did these people not know they were models of fish in the first place? Like,
I think they were. I don't know. I think the person that came up with this idea was pretty excited about it.
And they were like, "Guess
check out
That's
what we
real.
have."
This is so real. I put each one of these fish in."
They are real fish.
Like, it's not a small amount of fish either. The photo we have has about. Well, that's not the photo, but the photo we have has about 20
this photo
fish.
is disturbing.
Yeah.
This photo, I think, is a frozen lake or something.
Yeah.
I don't really know, but it would be incredibly disturbing if you were ice skating with like the heads of the fish poking out
that's
and
what
like
would
you're
have concerned
slicing
me.
them over.
And I thought about this too. I was like, what happens when a million people are ice skating on this and it just keeps chipping and chipping away? But I think they put them deep enough so that actually wouldn't happen. And when you Zamboni over, that's when you go over the ice, you put more water down so it refreezes another layer. It's not just shredding.
Is that what the Zamboni does? It doesn't just...
It puts water down and smooths it at the same time.
Oh,
so if you ever watch closely, it's really wet when they first take it off. They're not just heating it up. They're not heating it up at all. They're just putting more water down.
And then that's amazing. I had no idea.
Now you know.
But the final piece of this story, like any good corporate citizen, what happens when people complain is they do some kind of weird apology, and this is no exception. They will be holding a memorial service for the fish, which, mind you, they didn't kill, and you people out there didn't buy at the market and let them rot. So I'm just... I'm not buying this. I'm with Tamara. 100%.
I don't know. I feel like a horrible person this show because I'm like going against what people I feel expect me to say.
No, you're right.
No, I'm so about this right now. These people are too much.
It's too much.